You are about to embark upon the great crusade. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened. We will accept nothing less than full victory. Good luck, and let us all beseech the blessing of Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking.
Welcome back to the Army Flashcards Ranger School podcast. I'm your host, Zach Wiley. Today is Chapter 8, Battle Drills of the Ranger Handbook. So before we begin, just a couple notes. So as always, check out our website, armyflashcards.com, where we got tons of free resources for Ranger School and other good educational resources. Also, I'll talk more about this after the show, but I've recently started a new video series on YouTube and on the website. So it's just a short video series covering some topics in depth, and I try to cover some kind of commonly misunderstood topics in the military. So the current series is on the TLPs, basically going through each step of the troop leading procedures and breaking it down into the so what and like what's really important about it. So check that out if you're interested. And also, again, I'll talk about this more after the show, but we've recently partnered up with the NCOPD podcast, so doing a few shows with those guys. I think you can find them on iTunes, but if you're interested in listening to that one, it can be listened to at ncopd.podbean.com. So with that, let's get into this chapter, and I hope you enjoy. Chapter 8, Battle Drills. This chapter provides battle drills that are standard collective actions made in response to common battle occurrences. Graphic examples can be found in Appendix A. Quick reference cards can be found in Appendix B. For more information, see ATP 3-21.8. A drill is a collective action or task that is performed by a platoon or smaller element without the application of a deliberate decision-making process. It is initiated on a cue, accomplished with minimal leader orders, and performed as standard throughout like units in the Army. The action is vital to success in combat operations or critical to preserving life. It usually involves fire or maneuver. The drill is initiated on a cue, such as an enemy action or a leader's brief order, and is a trained response to given stimulus. React to direct fire contact. Conditions: the unit is moving or halted. The enemy initiates direct fire contact on the unit. Cue: this drill begins when the enemy initiates direct fire contact. Standards: the element in contact returns fire immediately and seeks cover. Element in contact locates the enemy and places well-aimed fire on known enemy positions. The leader can point out at least one half of the enemy positions and identify the types of weapons, such as small arms and light machine guns. Unit leader reports the contact to higher headquarters. Task steps. 1. The element in contact immediately returns well-aimed fire on known enemy positions. Vehicles move out of the beaten zone. 2. Soldiers and vehicles assume the nearest covered and concealed position. Mounted soldiers dismount the vehicle, provide local security, and added suppressive fire against the enemy. 3. Element leaders locate and engage known enemy positions with well-aimed fire or battle site fire command and pass information to the unit leader and soldiers. 4. Element leaders control the fire of their soldiers by using standard fire commands, initial and supplemental, containing the following elements: A. Alert. B. Weapon or ammunition, optional. C. Target description. D. Direction. E. Range. F. Method. G. Control, optional. H. Execution. I. Termination. 5. Soldiers and vehicle commanders maintain contact, visual or oral, with the leader, other soldiers, and vehicles on their left or right. 6. Soldiers maintain contact with the team leader and indicate the location of enemy positions. Vehicle commanders relay all commands to the mounted infantry squads. 7. Unit leaders visually or orally check the status of their personnel. 8. Element leaders maintain visual contact with the unit leader. 9. The unit leader moves up to the element in contact and links up with its leader. A. Unit leader brings the radio telephone operator, forward observer, element leader of the nearest element, one crew-served weapon team, machine gun team if available. B. Element leaders of the elements not in contact move to the front of their element. C. The platoon sergeant moves forward with the remaining crew-served weapons and links up with the unit leader, and assumes control of the support element. 10. The unit leader determines whether or not the unit must move out of the engagement area. 11. The unit leader determines whether or not the unit can gain and maintain suppressive fires with the element already in contact, based on the volume and accuracy of enemy fires against the element in contact. 12. The unit leader makes an assessment of the situation and identifies A. The location of the enemy position and obstacles, B. The size of the enemy force engaging the unit in contact, the number of enemy automatic weapons, the presence of any vehicles, and the employment of indirect fires or indicators of enemy strength. C. Vulnerable flanks. D. Covered and concealed flanking routes to the enemy positions. 13. The unit leader decides whether to conduct an assault, bypass, if authorized by the company commander, or break contact. 14. The leader reports the situation to higher headquarters and begins to maneuver the unit. Conduct a platoon assault. Conditions. The platoon is moving as part of a larger force conducting a movement to contact or an attack. The enemy initiates direct fire contact on the lead squad. Q. This drill begins when the enemy initiates direct fire contact. Standards. The platoon lead squad locates and suppresses the enemy, establishes supporting fire, and assaults the enemy position using fire and maneuver. The platoon destroys or causes the enemy to withdraw and consolidates and reorganizes. Task steps. 1. The platoon conducts action on enemy contact. The squad or section in contact reacts to contact by immediately returning well-aimed fire on known enemy positions. Dismounted soldiers assume the nearest covered positions. Vehicles move out of the beaten zone and soldiers dismount the vehicle. The element in contact attempts to achieve suppressive fires. The element leader notifies the platoon leader of the action. 2. Platoon leader gives the command to dismount the vehicles. The platoon sergeant takes control of the vehicles. 3. The platoon leader, radio telephone operator, forward observer, squad leader of the next squad, and one machine gun team move forward to link up with the squad leader of the squad in contact. 4. The squad leader of the trail squad moves to the front of the lead fire team. 5. The weapons squad leader and second machine gun team move forward and link up with the platoon leader. If directed, the weapons squad leader assumes control of the base of fire element and positions the machine guns to add suppressive fires against the enemy. 6. Platoon sergeant repositions vehicles as necessary to provide observation and supporting fire against the enemy. 7. The platoon leader assesses the situation. 8. If the squad in contact cannot achieve suppressive fire, the squad leader reports to the platoon leader. A. The squad in contact establishes a base of fire. The squad leader deploys the squad to provide effective, sustained fires on the enemy position. The squad leader reports the final position to the platoon leader. B. The remaining squads not in contact take up covered and concealed positions in place and observe to the flanks and rear of the platoon. C. The platoon leader moves forward with the radio telephone operator, platoon forward observer, squad leader of the nearest squad, and one machine gun team. 9. Lead squad locates the enemy. A. The squad leader of the squad in contact reports the enemy, size, and location, and any other information to the platoon leader. The platoon leader completes the squad leader's assessment of the situation. B. The squad continues to engage the enemy's position. C. The weapons squad leader moves forward with the second machine gun team and links up with the platoon leader. D. The platoon sergeant repositions vehicles as necessary to provide observation and supporting fire against the enemy. 10. Lead squad suppresses the enemy. A. The platoon leader determines if the squad in contact can gain suppressive fire against the enemy based on the volume and accuracy of the enemy's return fire. 1. If the answer is yes, the platoon leader directs his squad with one or both machine guns and vehicle element in contact to continue suppressing the enemy. A. The squad in contact destroys or suppresses enemy weapons that are firing most effectively against it, normally crew-served weapons. B. The vehicle section in contact destroys or suppresses enemy weapons that were firing most effectively against them, including vehicles and crew-served weapons. C. The squad in contact places screening smoke, M203 or 320s, to prevent the enemy from seeing the maneuver element. 2. If the answer is no, the platoon leader deploys another squad, second vehicle section, and the second machine gun team to suppress the enemy position. The platoon leader may direct the trail leader to position this squad and vehicle section, and weapons squad leader to position one or both machine gun teams in a better support by fire position. B. The platoon leader again determines that the platoon can gain suppressive fires against the enemy. 1. If the answer is yes, the platoon leader continues to suppress the enemy with the 2 squads, 2 machine guns, and vehicle-mounted weapons. A. The trail squad leader assumes control of the base of fire element, squad in contact, machine gun teams, and any other squads designated by the platoon leader. B. The platoon sergeant assumes control of the vehicle section and base of fire element, squad in contact, and machine gun teams designated by the platoon leader. C. The platoon forward observer calls for and adjusts fires based on the platoon leader's directions. The platoon leader does not wait for indirect fires before continuing with his actions. 2. If the answer is still no, the platoon leader deploys the last 2 squads to provide flank and rear security, guide the rest of the company forward as necessary, and report the situation to the company commander. Normally, the platoon becomes the base of fire element for the company and may deploy the last squad to add suppressive fires. The platoon continues to suppress or fix the enemy with direct and indirect fires and responds to orders from the company commander. 11. Platoon assaults the enemy position. If the squads in contact, together with the machine guns and vehicle element, can suppress the enemy, the platoon leader determines if the remaining squads that are not in contact can maneuver. A. The platoon leader makes the following assessment. 1. Location of enemy positions and obstacles. 2. Size of enemy force. The number of enemy automatic weapons, the presence of any vehicles, and the employment of indirect fires are indicators of the enemy's strength. 3. Vulnerable flank. 4. Covered and concealed flanking route to the enemy position. B. If the answer is yes, the platoon leader maneuvers the squads into the assault. 1. Once the platoon leader has ensured that the base of fire element is in position and providing suppressive fires, he leads the assaulting squads to the assault position. 2. If the vehicle section can effectively suppress the enemy element, the platoon leader may reposition the weapon squad or machine gun to an intermediate or local support by fire position to provide additional suppression during the assault. 3. Once in position, the platoon leader gives the prearranged signal for the base of fire element to lift or shift fires to the opposite flank of the enemy position. The assault element must pick up and maintain effective fires throughout the assault. Handover of responsibility for direct fires from the base of fire element to the assault element is critical. 4. The platoon forward observer shifts indirect fires to isolate the enemy position. 5. The assaulting squads fight through enemy positions using fire and maneuver. The platoon leader controls the movement of the squads, assigns specific objectives for each squad, and designates the main effort or base maneuver element. The base of fire element must be able to identify the near flank of the assaulting squads. 6. In the assault, the squad leader determines the way in which to move the elements of the squad based on the volume and accuracy of enemy fire against the squad, and the amount of cover afforded by the terrain. In all cases, each soldier uses individual movement techniques as appropriate. A. The squad leader designates one fire team to support the movement of the other fire team. B. The squad leader designates a distance or direction for the team to move and accompanies one of the fire teams. C. Soldiers must maintain contact with team members and leaders. D. Soldiers time their firing and reloading in order to sustain their rate of fire. E. The moving fire team proceeds to the next covered position. Teams use the wedge formation when assaulting. Soldiers move in rushes or by crawling. F. The squad leader directs the next team to move. G. If necessary, the team leader directs soldiers to bound forward as individuals within buddy teams. Soldiers coordinate their movement and fires with each other within the buddy team and maintain contact with their team leader. H. Soldiers fire from covered positions. They select the next covered position before moving and rushing forward, no more than 5 seconds, or use high or low crawl techniques based on terrain and enemy fires. C. If the answer is no, or the assaulting squads cannot continue to move, the platoon leader deploys the squads to suppress the enemy and reports to the company commander. The platoon continues suppressing enemy positions and responds to the orders of the company commander. 12. The platoon consolidates on the objective once the assaulting squad sees the enemy position. A. Establishes local security. B. Platoon leader signals for the base of fire element to move up into designated positions. C. Platoon leader assigns sectors of fire for each squad and vehicle. D. Platoon leader positions key weapons and vehicles to cover the most dangerous avenues of approach. E. Platoon sergeant begins coordination for ammunition resupply. F. Soldiers take up hasty defensive positions. G. Platoon leader and forward observer develop a quick fire plan. H. Squads place out observation points to warn of enemy counterattacks. 13. Platoon organizes by A. Reestablishing the chain of command. B. Redistributing and resupplying ammunition. C. manning crew-served weapons first. D. Redistributing critical equipment such as radios, chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear equipment, and night vision devices. E. Treating casualties and evacuating wounded. F. Filling vacancies in key positions. G. Searching, silencing, segregating, safeguarding, and speeding enemy prisoners of war to collection points. H. Collecting and reporting enemy information and material. 14. Platoon sends a situation report to the company commander. Conduct a squad assault. Conditions. The squad is moving as part of the platoon conducting a movement to contact or an attack. The enemy initiates direct fire contact. Q. This drill begins when the enemy initiates direct fire contact. Standards. The squad locates and suppresses the enemy, establishes a supporting fire, and assaults the enemy position using fire and maneuver. The squad destroys or causes the enemy to withdraw, conducts consolidation, and reorganizes. Task steps. 1. The team in contact immediately returns well-aimed fire on enemy known positions and assumes the nearest covered position. Soldiers receiving fire take up nearest positions that afford protection from enemy fire, cover, and observation, concealment. 2. Soldiers in contact assume the nearest position that provides cover and concealment. A. Fire team soldiers in contact move to positions, bound or low crawl, where they can fire their weapons, position themselves to ensure that they have observation, fields of fire, cover, and concealment. They continue to fire and report known or suspected enemy positions to the fire team leader. B. The team leader directs fires using tracers or standard fire commands. C. The fire team not in contact takes covered and concealed positions in place and observes to the flanks and rear of the squad. D. The squad leader reports contact to the platoon leader and moves toward the fire team in contact. 3. Lead team locates the enemy. A. Using sight and sound, the fire team in contact acquires known or suspected enemy positions. B. The fire team in contact begins to place well-aimed fire on suspected enemy positions. C. The squad leader moves to a position to observe the enemy and assess the situation. D. The squad leader requests through the platoon leader immediate suppression of indirect fires, normally 60mm mortars. E. The squad leader reports the enemy size and location and any other information to the platoon leader. As the platoon leader comes forward, he completes the squad leader's assessment of the situation. 4. Team in contact suppresses the enemy. A. The squad leader determines if the fire team in contact can gain suppressive fire based on the volume and accuracy of the enemy fire. B. If the answer is yes, the fire team leader continues to suppress the enemy. 1. The fire team destroys or suppresses enemy crew-served weapons first. 2. The fire team places smoke, M203 or 320s, on the enemy position to obscure it. 3. The fire team leader continues to control fires using tracers or standard fire commands. Fires must be well aimed and continue at a sustained rate with no lulls. 4. Buddy teams fire their weapons so that both are not reloading their weapons at the same time. C. If the answer is no, the squad leader then deploys the fire team not in contact to establish a support by fire position. The squad leader reports the situation to the platoon leader. Normally, the squad becomes a base of fire element for the platoon. The squad continues to suppress the enemy and responds to orders from the platoon leader. The platoon leader, radio telephone operator, forward observer, one machine gun team, squad leader of the next squad, platoon sergeant, and the other machine gun team are already moving forward according to Battle Drill 2, Platoon Assault. 5. The unit leader maneuvers the assault elements into the assault. A. Squad leader adjusts fires, both direct and indirect, based on the rate of the assault element movement and the minimum safe distances of weapon systems. B. Once in position, the squad leader gives the prearranged signal for the supporting fire team to shift direct fires to the opposite flank of the enemy position. C. The assaulting fire team assumes and maintains effective fires throughout the assault. Handover of responsibility for direct fires from support element to the assault element is critical to prevent fratricide. D. If available, unit leader directs the forward observer to shift indirect fires, including smoke, to isolate the enemy position. 6. The assaulting elements fight through enemy positions using fire and movement. Team leader controls the movement of the team. B. Team leader assigns specific objectives for each buddy team and designates a base maneuver element. C. Base of fire elements maintain visual contact of the near flank of the assaulting element. D. The assault element conducts fire and movement based on volume and accuracy of enemy fires against his element and the amount of cover afforded by the terrain. 1. Assault element leader designates a distance and direction for the assault element and moves with that element. 2. Soldiers maintain contact with team members and leaders. 3. Team leaders direct soldiers to move as individuals or teams. 4. Soldiers fire from covered positions. Soldiers move using 3 to 5 second rushes or the low or high crawl techniques, taking advantage of available cover and concealment. 5. Soldiers time their firing and reloading in order to sustain their rate of fire. 6. Team leaders maintain contact with the unit leader and pass signals to the element members. 7. If the assault element cannot continue to move on, the unit leader deploys the elements to suppress the enemy and reports to higher headquarters. 7. The squad consolidates and reorganizes. A. Squad leaders establish local security. B. The squad leader signals for the base of fire element to move up into designated positions. C. The squad leader assigns centers of fire for each element. D. The squad leader positions key weapons to cover the most dangerous avenue of approach. E. The squad leader begins coordination for ammunition resupply. F. Soldiers establish hasty fighting positions. G. Squad leader develops a quick fire plan. H. Squad leader places out observation posts to warn of enemy counterattacks. I. Reestablishes the chain of command. J. Redistributes and resupplies ammunition. K. Mans crew-served weapons first. L. Redistributes critical equipment such as radios, C-burn, and night vision devices. M. Treats and evaluates wounded. N. Fills vacancies in key positions. O. Treats detainees in accordance with the 5 S's. P. The unit leader consolidates ammunition, casualties, and equipment reports. A. Squad leader reports situation to the platoon leader. Break contact. Conditions. The unit is moving as part of a larger force, conducting a movement in contact or an attack. Following direct fire contact with the enemy, the unit leader decides to break contact. Q. This drill begins when the unit leader gives the command to break contact. Standards. The unit breaks contact using fire and movement, and continues to move until the enemy cannot observe or place fire on them. The unit leader reports the contact to higher headquarters. Task steps. 1. The unit leader directs an element to suppress the enemy. 2. The unit leader directs the vehicles to support the disengagement of the dismounted element. If the vehicles cannot support the disengagement of the dismounted element, the platoon leader directs one squad or fire team to suppress by fire to support the disengagement of the remainder of the element. 3. The unit leader orders a distance and direction, terrain feature, or last rally point of the movement of the element in contact. 4. The unit leader employs indirect fires to suppress enemy positions. 5. The bounding element moves to occupy the overwatch position and employs smoke to screen the movement. If necessary, employs fragmentation and concussion grenades to facilitate breaking contact. 6. The base of fire element continues to suppress the enemy. 7. The moving element occupies their overwatch position and engages enemy positions. 8. The unit leader directs the base of fire element to move to its next covered and concealed position. Based on the terrain and volume and accuracy of the enemy's fire, the movement element may need to use fire and movement techniques. 9. The unit continues to bound away from the enemy until A. It breaks contact. The unit must continue to suppress the enemy as it breaks contact. B. It passes through a higher level support by fire position. C. Its elements are in the assigned positions to conduct the next mission. Note: for a mounted element, the platoon leader directs the vehicles to move to a rally point and link up with the dismounted element. 10. The leader should consider changing the unit's direction of movement once contact is broken. This reduces the ability of the enemy to place effective indirect fires on the unit. 11. Elements and soldiers that become disrupted stay together and move to the last designated rally point. 12. Unit leaders account for soldiers, reports the situation to higher leadership, reorganizes as necessary, and continues the mission. React to ambush, near. Conditions: dismounted and mounted. The unit is moving tactically, conducting operations. The enemy initiates contact with direct fire within hand grenade range. All or part of the unit is receiving accurate enemy direct fire. Q. This drill begins when the enemy initiates ambush within hand grenade range. Standards for dismounted. Soldiers in the kill zone immediately return fire on known or suspected enemy positions and assault through the kill zone. Soldiers not in the kill zone locate and place well-aimed suppressive fire on the enemy. The unit assaults through the kill zone and destroys the enemy. Mounted. Vehicle gunners immediately return fire on known or suspected enemy positions as the unit continues to move out of the kill zone. Soldiers on disabled vehicles in the kill zone dismount, occupy covered positions, and engage the enemy with accurate fire. Vehicle gunners and soldiers outside the kill zone suppress the enemy. The unit assaults through the kill zone and destroys the enemy. The unit leader reports the contact to higher headquarters. Task steps. 1. Dismounting unit. Unit personnel take the following actions. A. Soldiers in the kill zone execute one of the following 2 actions. 1. Return fire immediately. If cover is not available, immediately and without order or signal, assault through the kill zone. 2. Return fire immediately. If cover is not available, without order or signal, occupy the nearest covered position and throw smoke grenades. B. Soldiers in the kill zone assault through the ambush using fire and movement. C. Soldiers not in the kill zone identify the enemy location, place well-aimed suppressive fire on the enemy's position, and shift fire soldiers assault the objective. D. Soldiers assault through and destroy the enemy position. E. The unit leader reports the contact to higher headquarters. 2. Mounted units take the following actions. A. Vehicle gunners in the kill zone immediately return fire and deploy vehicle smoke while moving out of the kill zone. B. Soldiers in disabled vehicles in the kill zone immediately obscure themselves from the enemy with smoke, dismount if possible, seek covered positions, and return fire. C. Vehicle gunners and soldiers outside of the kill zone identify the enemy positions, place well-aimed suppressive fire on the enemy, and shift fire as soldiers assault the objective. D. The unit leader calls for and adjusts indirect fire and requests close air support according to the mission, enemy terrain and weather, troops and support available, time available, and civilian considerations. E. Soldiers in the kill zone assault through the ambush and destroy the enemy. F. The unit leader reports the contact to higher headquarters. Enter and clear a room. Conditions. The unit is conducting operations as part of a larger unit and has been given the mission to clear a room. Enemy personnel are believed to be in the building. Non-combatants may be present in the building and are possibly intermixed with the enemy personnel. The unit has support and security elements positioned at the initial foothold and outside the building. Q. This drill begins on the order of the unit leader or on the command of the clearing team leader. Standards. The unit clears and secures the room by killing or capturing the enemy while minimizing friendly casualties, non-combatant casualties, and collateral damage. The team complies with the rules of engagement, maintains a sufficient fighting force to repel an enemy counterattack, and continues operations. Task steps. 1. The unit leader occupies a position to best control the security and clearing teams. A. Unit leader directs a clearing team to secure corridors or hallways outside the room with appropriate firepower. B. The team leader, normally the number 2 soldier, takes a position to best control the clearing team outside the room. C. The unit leader gives the signal to clear the room. Note: if the unit is conducting high-intensity combat operations and grenades are being used, the unit must comply with the rules of engagement and consider the building structure. A soldier of the clearing team cooks off at least one grenade, frag, concussion, or stun grenade, throws a grenade into the room, and announces frag out. The use of grenades should be consistent with the rules of engagement and the building structure. Soldiers can be injured from fragments if walls and floors are thin or damaged. 2. Clearing team enters and clears the room. A. The first 2 soldiers enter the room almost simultaneously. B. The first soldier enters the room, moves left or right along the path of least resistance to one of the 2 corners, and assumes a position of domination facing into the room. During movement, the soldier scans the sector and eliminates all immediate threats. C. The second soldier, normally the clearing team leader, enters the room immediately after the first soldier and moves in the opposite direction of the first soldier to his point of domination. During movement, the soldier eliminates all immediate threats in the sector. Note: during high-intensity combat, the soldiers enter immediately after the grenade detonates. Both soldiers enter firing aimed at bursts into their sectors, engaging all threats or hostile targets to cover their entry. If the first or second soldier discovers the room is small or is a short room, such as a closet or bathroom, he announces short room or short. The clearing team leader informs the third and fourth soldiers whether or not to stay outside the room or to enter. D. The third soldier moves in the opposite direction of the second soldier while scanning and clearing the sector and assuming the point of domination. E. The fourth soldier moves opposite of the third soldier to a position dominating his sector. F. All soldiers engage enemy combatants with precision, aimed fire, and identify non-combatants to avoid collateral damage. Note: if necessary or on order, number 1 and 2 soldiers of the clearing team may move deeper into the room while overwatched by the other team members. G. The clearing team leader announces to the unit leader when the room is clear. 3. Marks entry point according to the unit SOP. A. makes a quick assessment of the room and threat. B. Determines if unit has firepower to continue clearing their assigned sector. C. Reports to the higher unit leader the first room is clear. D. Requests needed sustainment to continue clearing his sector. E. Marks entry point according to unit standard SOP. 4. The unit consolidates and reorganizes as needed. React to indirect fire. Conditions. Dismounted, the unit is moving, conducting operations. Any soldier gives the alert incoming or a round impacts nearby. Mounted, the unit is stationary or moving, conducting operations. The alert incoming comes over the radio or intercom or rounds impact nearby. Q. This drill begins when any member alerts incoming or a round impacts. Standards. Dismounted. Soldiers immediately seek the best available cover. The unit moves out of the area to the designated rally point after the impact. Mounted. When moving, drivers immediately move their vehicles out of the impact area in the direction and distance ordered. If stationary, drivers start their vehicles and move in the direction and distance ordered. Unit leaders report the contact to higher headquarters. Task steps. 1. Dismounted. Unit personnel take the following actions. A. Any soldier announces incoming. B. Soldiers immediately assume the prone position or move to immediately available cover during initial impacts. C. The unit leader orders the unit to move to a rally point by giving a direction and distance. D. Soldiers move rapidly in the direction and distance to the designated rally point after the impact. E. The unit leader reports the contact to higher headquarters. 2. Mounted. Unit personnel take the following actions. A. Any soldier announces incoming. B. Vehicle commanders repeat the alert over the radio. C. The leaders give the direction and link-up location over the radio. D. Soldiers close all hatches if applicable to their vehicle type. Gunners stay below their turret shields or get down into the vehicle. E. Drivers move rapidly out of the impact area in the direction ordered by the leader. F. Unit leaders report the contact to higher headquarters. This ends Chapter 8. Alright, so that's it for Chapter 8, Battle Drills of the Ranger Handbook. So a couple of other notes following the show. I've recently started a video series on YouTube. Short videos covering some pretty basic topics. So currently I'm doing a troop leading procedures series, covering each step in some detail. So check that out. I have it on my YouTube channel. You can also find them on my website, armyflashcards.com. I'd be really curious to hear from any of you listening, though, on topics that you'd like to hear. So the premise of the videos, while I'm driving, I just record a short video going like into depth, getting to the so what of different topics like TLPs, op orders. We could do battle drills, etc. But if you have an idea or something you'd like broken down easily for you, just let me know and I'll make a video for it. Another thing, we've recently partnered up with another podcast called the NCOPD podcast. So a topic we covered recently actually was free time in garrison. So how as a leader to fill white space in garrison. And I think it ties pretty well into this chapter, actually, battle drills, right? So if you go out and you practice battle drills, they become a reaction, right? You don't even have to think about them. And ultimately, that's what a battle drill is supposed to be, is a quick reaction to a threat. So if you're interested in checking out that NCOPD podcast, the guy Jordan is doing some awesome stuff with it. I think it can be found on iTunes, but I know right now it's on his website, which is ncopd.podbean.com. Again, that's ncopd.podbean, which is podbean.com. So I know Jordan's talking about a lot of interesting topics on that podcast, so be sure to check it out. Another note on today's episode, we have finally passed the halfway mark in the Ranger Handbook. So there are 15 chapters. This concludes Chapter 8, so congrats, we're halfway done. Got 7 more chapters to go.